Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guys. I don't want to say hey, guys. Hey, welcome back. Stop looking at your lip. Excuse me, sorry. Hey, guys. Welcome back. I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Dave.
And this is Engineered by God. We're back with another video, and today we're talking about quarantine.
Everyone's favorite topic.
Right.
2020.
Right. We're definitely ending 2020 off without a bang. This year hasn't gone how anyone has really planned or thought it was going to go. So, I don't know, we're just talking about how we've been doing from quarantine. From March, we've been March till now. And I guess now we're in a little bit of a more of a unique situation because now we're actually like legit self-quarantining, doing the 14-day self-quarantine, not seeing anyone except for our family. So we're going into week 2. And week 1 was fine. It was Thanksgiving week. We were off from work for the most part. But now we're going back to work, and we got Josiah, and that is going to be fun, to say the least. So that should be interesting.
Right. And I guess to kind of make this a little bit easier, because there's so much to tackle with like quarantining, COVID, and all that stuff, we're kind of like breaking it into different categories. Basically, the first is our relationship, how this has impacted our relationship. The second is our relationship with God, how that's changed. And the last thing is our relationship with ourselves, I guess, like how we've kind of adapted and changed and grown throughout this entire COVID season.
Yeah, great topics. Great categories. So, you start. I'm tossing it over to you.
Okay.
Toss it, hot potato.
So the first category, I'm going to choose the relationships. How has COVID impacted our relationship? Obviously, we're two different people, so we have two different perspectives. I think for me personally, it has been both really good at times and I wouldn't say really bad, but like it's also had its kind of like, challenges. You know what I mean? Like the good part is obviously we're together a lot more. You know what I mean? Like during work, you have this big block of time when you're working like in the office. This big block of time where you're just not together. And typically when you come home, you have like house chores and other tasks that you have to do before you get to spend any real quality time.
And then it's bedtime.
And then it's Josiah's bedtime, you know what I mean? And then it's your bedtime before you know it. So this has been the first time that we've been, since college, that we've been together throughout our days. And even if you're really busy with work, you're still next to me. You know what I mean? Like you're not unavailable to me in a way you would be normally. So that's been good. But the downside to that is when you spend a lot of time with someone, sometimes you neglect quality time. And you as me, I neglect it. And she usually has to remind me, hey, I know we've been together, but we haven't been together. So that's kind of how I view this whole period impacting us. It's like, yes, we have all this time together, but at the same time, it's like, are we spending good time together, or are we just in the same space?
And I think that's something that naturally happens anyway, especially when you have children, you experience that. But I feel like maybe a lot of couples may say, I don't want to speak for other couples, but I feel like this is like a experiment, like a heightened experiment for your kind of relationship. And everything is speed up. Like you go through more emotions during this time because you're together 24/7. And so I think it kind of, and then you have to like adapt quicker too. So I think it's like a sped up kind of marriage experience.
Yeah.
Like however many months of quarantine equals 3 years of marriage. You know what I mean? It's like
And it's like it forces you to be more intentional. Like, I don't know what it is about having like access to something so often that it makes you take it for granted. But it's like, because you're here all the time, sometimes I don't think like, yo, we got to do something different that's
Yeah.
just us, that, something to like reconnect us. So we played this one card game. I never remember the name of the card game. I never remember it, but it really helped us in terms of, we'll put it in, maybe we should put it like in the section below. Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about it in another
We
video.
did. We definitely
Talked
did.
about another video, but yeah.
But it really helped. I mean, we talked about
Yeah.
a lot of things in our relationship, and it helped us have conversations that we would not have otherwise.
Yeah. For me, how has our relationship been?
I mean, obviously incredible. I mean,
Oh, so for you it's really bad. I'm like, it's been some really good times and some really, like...
typically you just say really bad, but I was like, it hasn't actually been really bad ever.
I mean, I guess I kind of agree with what you're saying. I don't think I have any additional things. I think for me, like you said, I've been the one feeling like we need to be intentional with the time that we're spending together and feeling like it's been neglected. So just been pushing you in that direction. But yeah, I think that's even also something that we're just, because in the beginning, I think we were being more intentional, but then as, this continued on, we started to spend less intentional time together. So I think that's something new that we just were like, okay, let's figure out how we're gonna do this now moving forward.
Right.
But yeah, so I don't know. I don't think there's anything else. I can't think of anything else. Can you?
I mean, I think that covers the main, theme of our relationship throughout this time.
Yeah. I think the best thing is, like, I feel like I'm not tired of you.
That's good to know. But yeah,
I mean, because some people say, like, you go from not spending so much time together to spending, like, a bunch of time together, and you're like, it's an adjustment. It's something you have to get used to, and retrain your mind. And like, okay, I'm gonna be all here with this person all day, every day now.
Right.
It's different, but I think maybe it's because in college we spent like almost all day, every day together, except for when we were in class or working. So
I think it's good because we have a lot of similar interests. Like, we genuinely like spending time together. You know what I mean? We like doing the same things for the most part, watching some of the same things. Obviously we have our own separate things, but the things that we like together, it's not like I'm forcing you or you're forcing me. We actually enjoy that. So you should find someone that you like actually spending time with.
Friends.
Like a friend, basically.
Yeah. Like, you're really my best friend. So, God, our relationship with God, how has that changed? I think that overall, this season has been great for my relationship with God. It's always, since I became a Christian, it's always been a roller coaster. It's always been up and down. And even during this time, it was up and down. But I think overall, when I look at it, I think there's been more ups than there's been downs. And I think right now we're at like a high point. Both of us are at a high point in our relationship with God. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I can speak for both of us. Like, as individuals, like you said, we've both been progressing in the way that we would want to be progressing. But as a unit, as a husband and wife together, we've kind of not been doing too good, to be honest with you. During the beginning of this COVID season, we were pretty consistent, like, with reading together. So what we would do is we were just reading the New Testament. We were starting from Matthew and just going forward. And we were also reading the Psalms as well. And that was a pretty consistent everyday thing. And every now and then we'd also have our worship nights where we play worship music, sing and pray and read together. And we've kind of completely neglected that. We've let that go. And it's kind of weird because during that time, we were strong together but weak individually.
Yeah.
And now we're strong individually but weak together.
Yeah.
And so we kind of want to like combine both of those strong points, and so we can move forward into 2021, with some good momentum.
Yeah. So prayer request for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And that's true.
Right.
That's true.
And also, it's like, too, with Josiah, now he's more attentive. You know what I mean? He's more aware of what you're doing. And so we kind of want him to start seeing that now. Even though he's young, I do believe, like, he's picking up on things.
Yeah.
Um,
He now we started praying with him at night, and I feel like he expects it. He now, and you just see him because he knows how the routine goes, because we have a routine, we do it every night, and then he just looks at us because he's like, okay, waiting
Right.
for us to start praying, start talking,
Right.
and he's just looking at us like, I don't know what you're saying, but you're saying it every night, so I guess this is part of the routine now.
Right. Yeah, that is cool. Like that he does expect that. Like I always give him because Jazz picks him up and I give him a kiss and I say I love you and Jesus loves you too. I feel like most nights he kind of like leans in like,
Like,
you gonna give him the kiss. Or so yeah, being a good example is something we want to do.
Yeah, yeah. So individually, how have we been throughout quarantine? You can start.
Yeah, I go first. I think this time has really reminded me of all the other things that I really enjoy that I was kind of neglecting because of, I was just focused on work or just focused on my relationship with my wife or, my son. Um, but I really enjoy, like, for example, playing music. I've been playing music since I can remember. But to be honest, like, I've really stopped in terms of, like, the intentional studying that I used to do when I was, a teenager, basically. And Jazz and I were having a conversation that I kind of told her a lot of my skills are completely eroded. Like, to most people, like, hey, you sound really good. But to myself, I know that I could be much better today. So I want to kind of get back into that. You know what I mean? Like working out was something I was doing before Corona, but now I really want to be more intentional with continuing that because I enjoy the process. Even something silly like video games. I know, like, oh, of course you're into video games, but I wasn't playing video games at all for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And then I started playing. I'm like, I actually enjoy this. It kind of like de-stresses me. I can kind of like, clear my mind and just enjoy this, 30 minutes or an hour, whatever it is. But I realized that there are other things, like even video recording. Obviously, this is new to me, but
Yeah.
I really enjoy this process, like editing videos and learning new things about that. And I'm realizing, like, I kind of was just living for my responsibilities. I wasn't like doing anything outside of that to, really build up Dave, the individual. And so I think moving into 2021, and when the world does hopefully open back up, I don't want to forget about those things again because they've brought me a lot of joy during this time.
Yeah. That's good. For me, I think it's been more so a lot of changes in terms of my mental health. And it's been great. I'm not saying that, but it's been a lot of mental health changes. I think at the beginning, I was in a low place in the beginning mentally. I was going through a lot of personal things too that added to that, and that led me to get a therapist, to think about therapy, and to decide to actually put in the work to find a therapist. And it's been great, honestly, because I don't know, it just having that time where you're just, this person is forcing you to reflect and think about what you're doing and why you're doing it, and if it's healthy, like all those things are great, and I was not doing them on my own. So it's been great, and I learned a lot of things about myself and how I process things, just naturally, kind of who I am, and just things that I need to work on. Example of that is, like, before, I thought there was a chance that I might have anxiety, but you go on WebMD and you look up the symptoms and you're like, you could have everything. You never really know. But after, talking to my therapist a lot, it was confirm, yeah, you do struggle with mild anxiety. And so I've been learning a lot about that and just other things that I'm struggling with and how to navigate it and how I cope with things negatively and how to retrain myself to cope with those things. And like I mentioned before, that is actually what helped Dave and I get through this one issue that we were having. And maybe, you know, one of these videos will get deeper into all that and whatnot. But for the sake of time, I will just stick with the general overview. Yeah. But if you want that, then let us know, and we will do that. So yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's it for this video, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So like always, in the comment section, let us know how's this period been for you. Like, how have you been coping? What have you been learning about yourself?
Or what shows have you been watching? What good shows you've been watching during this time? Because we've been watching a lot of things.
A lot of shows.
A lot of things. So yeah, we can give you some recommendations too if you need it. We got everything. So you know.
And of course, if you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe for future videos just like this.
Yep, and hit the bell notification so you will be alerted when we post another video.
That's it.
See ya.